So hey, and welcome to this week's edition of the Hangout Café with me, your host, Joseph John. Now, because of obviously what is going on, especially with the COVID-19, we have to do Hangout Café indoors, and that's why we do this COVID-19 watch indoors. So, first things first, this edition of the Hangout Cafe is about mental health, because you have to realize that when we're locked down or when we are quarantined or when we're prohibited to do certain things, or there are restrictions to either movement or association, or we different times, the changes that we have to go through, or the changes that we have to live with, it may be difficult for some people, especially or including me, because I don't do well with change, which is I already mentioned in the other episode, and sometimes it's difficult, and I think that's why it took me time for me to do this episode, especially about mental health. I had to ensure that I was in the right frame of mind for this episode, and that's why I dedicated this episode to mental health. Now, so many people are going through different challenges, especially when it comes to mental health. Either it is stress, depression, anxiety, or so many other aspects of mental health, and that is why I think some tips on how to handle this situation when it comes to mental health are important. So, some of the tips that I think could be very helpful is that, number one, we could have contact with friends and family. The constant association with friends and family makes it easier to deal with different challenges, because they give you a different perspective, and at the same time they take your mind off what might be causing the anxiety, or what might be causing the stress, or what might be making you feel uncomfortable. And I think it is always important when you have people to talk to, since talking to these people gives you some sense of relief, gives you some sense of it takes your mind off issues. And that's why I think that as one of the different things you could do is talk to friends and family. The other thing is that as much as we are locked, I wanted to say lockdown, but not per se, because where I stay we are not locked down, but there are people who are quarantined, there are people who are in lockdown, and there are people who movement is restricted. As much as all that is happening, you need to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And what do I mean by maintaining a lifestyle? One, you need a proper diet. You need to eat healthy, because you may think that during this time of the COVID-19 you may have a pass and eat whatever you want, and then you find out that after the entire episode is done, you have a lot of work to do for you to regain the weight that you had, or for you to go back to where you were, or a habit has been formed. So it is important for you to construct a healthy habit, and that includes eating right, having a proper diet. The other thing is that you need to have the right amount of sleep, especially now that we're not doing a lot of things. You may find that you're either binge watching a series, or you're either having stories with friends, or whatever activity that you may have with. So it is always important for you to maintain a proper amount of sleep. And I think it relates so much to me because I'm epileptic. So for me, life is very scheduled, and whatever I do is very scheduled, so that I can at least have some good 8 hours of sleep. So I know how important it can be, which also can be important for you. The other thing is exercise. People have brought in different aspects of indoor exercises. So I'm sure if you canvas through YouTube, you'll find different exercises that you can do. Just find any exercise that suits you and take it, and then have some nice exercise while in the house. The other aspect is social contact. As much as we are maintaining the social distance with other people and all that, you can still talk, communicate, relate with other people. So it's important for you to have social contact with other people as another way of coping with stress, anxiety, depression, or another way of relieving whatever strain that your mind may be going through. Now, thing is, you find that it is so easy for us to substitute a bad habit to soothe something that we're going through. And that's why we're being told it's good to not substitute smoking or taking alcohol or any other drug to soothe whatever you're going through, to soothe troubles with mental health. It is important to find an alternative, because it's highly addictive. On the other hand, you can easily misuse them and then find yourself in another let's say deep trouble that you were actually in. So it's important for us not to only rely on the three, It's very important. But also you can still maintain as a remedy. You can still maintain contact with people through phone or email, partake in conversations, have fun, call, laugh, talk to people. It may take your mind off whatever you're going through. Now, if or in case you are overwhelmed, if in case that you feel like whatever you're going through is too great of a challenge for you, what you can do, an important thing that you can do is call a counselor or a healthcare worker, especially if you have a counselor. If you have a history of mental health deficit or stress or anxiety. Like for me, whenever I feel like I'm so low, I can easily call my counselor, and my counselor will be able to help me work through issues. So the same thing for you. If you feel like you're really down, it's always important for you to at least have somebody to talk to, somebody you trust, somebody you know that person will be able to help you get through whatever you're going through. Now, the other thing is that get true facts and information. Sometimes you may be able to get false information, and this false information may spiral into an uncontrollable spin of mental health problems like stress, anxiety, and the likes. So it is always important for you to get the right facts. And I think some of the places I've been able to get the right facts include the WHO website. I go there, I read through the facts and fiction. I go there and I see frequently asked questions, so I can be able to get a better understanding of what actually is going on. And at the same time, the communication that's being given by the Ministry of Health for my country, I go there and read through, and I'll be able to get a proper understanding of whatever is going on, which actually helps me a lot. The other thing is that you can easily limit your worrying and agitation by choosing what you watch. Sometimes you say that you are what you like. So say, show me your friends and I'll be able to tell you who you are. It's a similar scenario, which actually helps, because now what you can do here is that if you limit the number of whatever you watch, if you limit, if it's worrying, if it's agitating, if you limit it, then you're going to conserve your mental health. But another thing is that if you're getting information, make sure that it's the right information, the right figures, the right facts, so that you're frequently aware of whatever is going on around you, which is very important. Now, if you have a history of mental health, or you've ever been in a tricky position that really challenged you, there's some skills that you learned to develop through the challenges that you went through. They're important, especially now. The best thing you can do for yourself is tap into those skills, right? Tap into those skills. They may help you get through these challenges that you're going through now, because they are not in vain. They've built your character, they've built the person that you are. So tap into whatever we're going through, especially right now. And then on the other hand is that follow the directives or the directions that you've been given by your government, because it's important. You don't need to find yourself in trouble because of you flaunting the rules that you've been given. So it's important for you to follow the directions that you've been given by your government. The other thing is that have faith, have hope. I know not everybody is religious, but at the same time, it's important for you to believe either in yourself or to believe in a higher power, since sometimes when things are out of control, that is the only place that you can run to. So have faith, everything will be fine, everything will turn out alright. Just keep on going, keep on fighting on. And who says it is the end of the road, you know? You can really, if you can, you can really work on something that you felt like, let's say a weakness, strength, weaknesses. You can find a weakness that you think you need to work on, and then take up the challenge and work on it. You have time right now, so if it's a skill that you need to develop, you have the time to develop it. If you are for it, if it's something that you need to build on, you have time to actually do that. Like for me, I'm taking the time to actually build on some of the things that I feel are important, especially for Hangout Café. So I'm constantly reevaluating the goals that I need to achieve immediately this is actually done. So a framework, a guideline that's going to help me pursue whatever I have in front of me. So I think I would recommend the same thing for you. As much as we're talking about mental health, keeping yourself busy, keeping yourself occupied takes your mind off things that may agitate you, that may stress you, that may make you feel bad or stress you. So it's always important. If you can, take up the opportunity. If you can't, always find a way with the things that you've been able to mention before. Find a way to improve. It takes one step at a time. It doesn't. You can't go 100 miles without starting from zero. You just have to start. You continue working and you continue going. So that was it. This has been the Hangout Cafe with me, your host, Joseph.